The January 6th attack on the Capitol and those investigations into Trump's and Biden's handling of classified documents are looming over the election cycle. This as former President Trump is celebrating his win in the Nevada caucus overnight. Trump cruised to victory after Nikki Haley ran in the separate state primary on Tuesday, losing to the option of none of these candidates. ABC News political director Rick Klein joins me now for more on that. Rick, Haley says she wasn't worried about winning in Nevada because she called it a scam rigged for Trump. She says she didn't spend a dollar there. So how significant is this win for Trump?
Yeah, nobody paid attention to Nevada because the Trump-aligned forces had created this separate caucus system. A lot of candidates early on realized that they were not going to be competitive. They gave up on it and kind of wrote it off. That said, I think the more significant news was the one you just referenced about the primary, where she was on the ballot and Trump wasn't, and lost to nobody, to none of these candidates. Doesn't have any meaning, but it's a kind of symbolic loss for her that adds to the substantive losses that she has been suffering. Bottom line is she didn't get any delegates out of Nevada. She lost badly in Iowa. She lost by double digits in New Hampshire. Puts more emphasis on the possible breakthrough that she hopes for 15 days from now in her home state of South Carolina. But it sure doesn't seem like there's a lot of energy in her campaign right now as she soldiers forward and hopes to get through Super Tuesday.
Now, this ballot challenge before the Supreme Court isn't the only case the court could hear involving former President Trump and his role in January 6th. So how could that impact his run, assuming he is still on the ballot in November?
Yeah, I think pretty clearly he's going to be on the ballot in Colorado and elsewhere. There's even ways that the Republican Party in Colorado could try to do an end around if there was a surprise ruling that kept him off. But much more significant is the case that could be before the Supreme Court soon of his sweeping claims of presidential immunity from prosecution against anything he did while president. That would cover all of the actions on and around January 6th while he was still president, and it would make that part of the special counsel's investigation into him essentially go away. That has now been decided by a panel of circuit court judges this week that kind of picked apart every single argument that the Trump team put forward. But if it goes to the full circuit court and or the Supreme Court, that could be far more consequential. And I think probably the most important thing, Diane, is how fast they rule, because the clock is Donald Trump's friend until it isn't. The best play he's got here is to prolong this as close to or even beyond the presidential election. If he were to become president again, he could ask his Justice Department to drop the charges, or he could even potentially pardon himself.
How damaging could this special counsel report on President Biden's handling of classified info be to his campaign?
Look, it's far less, I think, about the details of classified information than about the details of his own mental ability, as documented by the special counsel. It's hard to explain away when it's there in black and white. Some of the commentary is superfluous. Some of it seems to be gratuitous. But the bottom line is you have a special counsel that's saying, look, we didn't prosecute or didn't decide to prosecute in part because we don't think a jury would convict because he would seem to be too old and potentially his memory being so poor that he couldn't have had malicious intent. That is a heck of a thing to come from a special counsel, from now an official position of officially put out by the Justice Department. The Biden team pushes back on it, but here's the danger in it, Diane, is I think it reinforces something that we've seen in polls and in talking to voters around the country. There are concerns about his age and his mental abilities. They've been reinforced also by things that he has said and done on the trail, including even in that news conference last night where he seemed to mix up the presidents of Mexico and Egypt. So I think this is something that's going to sting, and again, it gets at some of the fundamental challenges to his candidacy.
All right, ABC News political director Rick Klein, thank you.
You bet.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.